I've spoken to a number of parents who insist that because their children are just teenagers, it's too early to start thinking about admission and scholarship in places like the US and the UK. And I want to quickly tell you that what you're doing is you're sitting on a scholarship and admissions cheat code that I like to refer to as early start. And so, in the next few minutes, I'll just show you 3 steps that would prepare your young person for a scholarship or admissions opportunity in top universities in places like the UK and the US. Now, step number 1, you need to understand the big differences. I don't know the country you are or where you are watching this from, but there will definitely be some differences between what it takes to get into a university and what it takes to get a scholarship in your country from places like the US and the UK. So I'll take, for example, I grew up in Nigeria. Now, there's a strong focus on grades. So straight A's from secondary school in WAEC or NECO, and then less emphasis on things like leadership skills and all the other skills that they might be interested in other parts of the world. I'm not saying they don't in some places, but the emphasis or the focus on that is very minimal. So what you want is to hit cutoff marks, get good grades, straight A's, 9 A's, and that oftentimes would get you scholarships and admission. Now, if you look at places like the US and the UK, and I'm using US and the UK as examples, not because those are the only countries, but that same template I'm about to give you would be most likely applicable in any other country you're looking at, just to tweak a few things here and there. So let's look at the UK, for example. Yes, there's a strong focus on grade in the UK too, but there's also an element where you need to show clearly that you're a good fit for the subject you're applying for. And that oftentimes will be demonstrated through your personal statement, where you show that I've done 1 or 2 things that positions me for this course, or that makes this subject what I would like to do, or what I've been working towards doing. I'm not just jumping on it because I saw a scholarship. In places like the US, it's even broader. Yes, there's an emphasis or a focus on grades. There would be specific exams like SAT, TOEFL, IELTS, and in fact, even in the depending on your country, even in the UK, there might be need for you to show a proof of English proficiency. So there'll be exams that you need to prepare for. But in the US, there's also a strong focus on things like leadership skills, volunteering opportunities, some skills that would be useful beyond just good grades. And I like to emphasize on that because scholarships would always be competitive. People from all over the world would be competing for this scholarship. And so your child needs something to stand them out. Your child needs something to place them a step above the crowd. Like someone said, it's the ground that is always crowded. The step up is always less crowded. So what you want to do is to give your child an edge so that when he or she competes, they have something on every other person. So helping them build some of these skills is never, some of these skills, sorry, is never a waste of time. Step number 2 is you need to build a strong profile, strong, calm, careful profile, or what I'd like to refer to as portfolio, and not just some dying minute cook up that a lot of people like to do. What I mean by profile is when you're submitting an application for a scholarship, evidence is important. For some people, they just wait until when it's time to apply for scholarship. They find the scholarship. What's the requirement for the scholarship? And then they just, start writing all sorts of things. I built the house on my street. I have trained 10,000 children on how to be experts in this subject, and all sorts of things. But good examiners and people who screen these applications would see clearly when somebody is just throwing out BS. If it is coming from a place of truth, it's easy to tell. And so early start, what that does for you is to give your young person opportunities to actually build those experience and actually gather the evidence to support that. The first thing you need to do in this profile space is you need to decide on the area or on the path that your young person wants to take. Is it medicine? Is it arts? Is it music? Is it sports? Now, that's not going to be locked in. That can change with time, but it's important to have an idea of what they want to do, because that's going to inform the kind of volunteering opportunities, the kind of content they might create to back their application later in 2 years or 3 years' time. Number 2 action in this area of profile is they need good grades. And not just good grades, they need to be able to build confidence in certain areas, their writing skills, their mathematical skills, confidence. There's a difference between knowing something and really knowing that you know something. And this is not just important to get them into the schools. It's important when they eventually finish studying and need to. Because again, schooling in this part of the world has a strong element of internship and experience in industries. Building this foundation is going to be very, very important. Confidence in specific subject areas, a collection of evidence really to show the journey that tells the story of what they've come from, what they've done in the past. So create that evidence place where you put, awards they've had, photos of them receiving awards, speaking in public places, volunteering. So, for example, if a young person is thinking of a scholarship in environmental sciences, if ever they've done anything around cleanups, plastic pickup and things like that, evidence of videos and things that shows what they've done. And this is not just limited to those kind of evidence. So if your young person is creating content, is a vlogger, doing videos and all of that, if the video is relevant to the field they are planning to study, that can be a strong evidence of impact that will strengthen the application. Even gaming, things like gaming that some parents frown at. If your child is doing something that is relevant to coding or gaming, that can act as proof of evidence. And so what you want to do is to take those things that they like doing now and start keeping evidence to support applications. Now, step number 3, and this is one that a lot of people also ignore, is your young person needs to start building relationships with at least 2 or 3 teachers in their school. And now some people would think this is not an important step because you can always get references when it's time. In places like the US, when you're submitting this application, you need to submit references from people. Strong references should come from teachers who have worked with your young person. Now, some people think it's easy to just look for any teacher and get a reference. Again, as someone who has evaluated applications before, who have assessed applications before, I can tell you that if I'm reading complete BS, I can tell. Because when you're telling me stories and you're not linking it to specifics, it is clear. I mean, in this age of AI, anybody can just go and write some silly reference. What stands a silly reference out from a proper reference is reference to specifics. So rather than trying to cook up some rubbish reference, your young persons can start building a relationship with 1 or 2 teachers so that when they go to get reference from them, the reference is going to be referring to specifics. On so and so occasion, you had this challenge and you did this, and I was so proud of how you got this result. That's what stands a proper reference out. So they can start building that relationship now and being nice to some teachers so that when it's time for reference, they can get that. So 3 steps that can prepare your young person or your teenager for scholarships and admission in places like the US and the UK and give them that early start advantage. Step number 1, know the big differences between your present country and the country you're interested in them schooling, the US, UK, those unique differences, note those. Number 2, start building early portfolio of evidence, of skills beyond just academics, and also focus on grades that are relevant to specific subject areas. And number 3, they need to start building relationships that will give them actual, real references, not some AI cooked up references that refer to specific situations and specific outcomes. And so, for those who like things with 3 P's and 3 E's and 3 D's, we can look at 3 P's in this particular situation. So P number 1, identify the path. Number 2, the proof. And number 3, the people that would support the application. So I hope that's helpful. If you leave a comment telling me the age or class of your young person, the subject area, the country of interest, I will be able to give you some practical steps you can take as a parent between now and the next 12 months to prepare them. So feel free to leave a comment. Also, that's what we do. We offer bespoke support and guidance to young people. So if you want us to help in that area, feel free to get in touch. Also, please subscribe, like, follow us, because this is the kind of content we give in this space. So thank you once again, and I look forward to some more time with you